Good evening and welcome to another edition of Conservative Corner. I am your host, Tom Mountain, and we are recording in the new TV studios, and I would venture to say probably the best cable access station in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. But then again, we're biased, aren't we? No, seriously, they do a great job here, and we like to give accolades where accolades are deserved to the people of New TV for allowing us and facilitating us to put on this show to air to the viewers of Newton, in particular because, as you can guess by the title, Conservative Corner, we are, as Republicans, a minority in the city of Newton. We weren't always, but we are now, and for the foreseeable future, we probably will be. Nevertheless, we raise issues that are pertinent to the city, to the Commonwealth, and to the nation in general from a Republican perspective, a perspective which, shall we say, is lacking very much in Newton and in the Commonwealth in general. Tonight we have a very special guest, and I'm very pleased to have her with us. But I will also mention that I'm a bit taken aback that I haven't invited her on before, given the long time that we've been doing this show, because she is my esteemed colleague on the Republican State Committee of Massachusetts. She is my fellow State Committee woman, and that, of course, is Susan Huffman. Susan, welcome to the show, and we're very glad to have you here finally.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Susan is also a founding member of the Newton 9/11 Memorial, which you will see in Newton Center. It's a wonderful memorial. And she was also on the Newton Upper Falls Village Council for a long time. Area Council. And she is also the vice chair of the Newton Republican City Committee. And as of now, she is the acting chair of the MARA, which is the Massachusetts Republican Assembly for the Southern Division. Right. MARA is, of course, shall we say, the more conservative wing of the Massachusetts Republican Party. And Susan serves in that capacity for our mutual friend Steve Tugas, who unfortunately had a stroke, and we wish him the best of health and a speedy recovery as we get through the Christmas season. Steve, we're with you, and if you can hear us, please know that our thoughts and prayers are with you, and we hope and expect that you'll be back in the saddle very soon. But Susan, it's really a delight to have you here, and I mean that. And just for our viewers, I want to explain what the Republican State Committee is. The Republican State Committee of Massachusetts comprises of 80 members, 40 women, 40 State Committee women, and 40 State Committee men. And this is based on the 40 State Senate districts in the Commonwealth. So there is a man and a woman for each district. Now, in our particular district, which is the 1st Middlesex and Norfolk, that district comprises of all of Newton, Brookline, and half to 2/3 of Wellesley. The state senator from this district is the long-term state senator of the Democrat, Cynthia Crean, whom, although we do disagree with her a great deal, she's nice and polite, and we do have a cordial relationship with her. In fact, we invited her to address us a few years ago, and that was an interesting time, shall we say. But nevertheless, we are the governing board of the Republican State Party, otherwise known as the Mass GOP in the Commonwealth. Susan was elected to that position in 2020. I was elected to the position in 2017. So you're in your first term, and I'm going on 5 years. And it's been quite a journey. We've had our ups and downs for a long time. And I would say, Susan, right now, we like to be honest and very forthcoming here. We're sort of in a down mode, mainly because
we just lost a bunch of elections.
We lost a bunch of elections, and and I'm wearing something different tonight, and I want to show you specifically. And this is my old Baker Polito campaign jacket, which I've been wearing off and on since 2010, when Baker Polito first ran, and of course they lost that election. But then we came back in 2014 and then 2018. And, I remember in 2014 waiting until 2:30 in the morning in the Seaport District and waiting for the results to come in. And we barely won that by 32,000 votes. And I believe that was the number. And thankfully, we were running against a very lackluster candidate named Martha Coakley, who had also lost, I believe, to Scott Brown.
Well, we won
before.
that year on account of the tank the gas tax.
Yes, and that
And
too.
that tank the
For
gas tax
which you and I,
campaign.
which
I've-
you and I were involved in, and that was,
Yeah.
of course, to keep the gas tax from increasing across the Commonwealth.
Without the
The
legislators having to come up and,
Yes.
and say, I vote for this. So they, this kept them honest. as it were.
Exactly. So we won
And
that
thanks to
election,
Steve Aylward.
and then in 2018, Charlie Baker won the election again.
Right.
And now, although he is not prohibited from doing so, he chose not to run for a third term. So Mara
But
Healy,
now he has a new job where he's going to advise all those athletes.
yes, indeed, he's actually
College
the head of the
athletes.
NCAA, which is a very lucrative job, and it's a very high-profile job.
You know, I don't think Charlie is looking for the money.
Well, it certainly pays extremely
It
well.
might pay very well,
I
but-
would guess it pays significantly a lot more than the relatively modest salary of running an entire state, Massachusetts.
Oh, that's probably true. But,
But you know, it's so we're very there's a certain remorse at what is happening and what has happened in that, for all intents and purposes, we in the Massachusetts Republican Party will be backbenchers for the next 4 years. And I won't
Sadly.
even mention the next 8 years, but at least for the next 4 years, because Maura Healey will soon be the governor, and we have no statewide officials in power. But you know, for the last 4 to 8 years, we Republicans did not have a majority or even a significant minority in the state legislature,
it's pathetic.
or the state
Right.
senate, to the point where Governor Baker could not even sustain a veto. In other words,
Oh, they haven't been able to do that for years.
exactly. In other words, what would happen
But-
is the state legislature, the Democrats would send something to his desk to be signed, and then of course he would veto it.
Right.
Then it would go back to them, and they would override the veto because he didn't have enough state reps, Republican state
Right.
reps, to sustain a veto. So this was unfortunate, but nevertheless, Governor Baker still controlled the executive wing and was able to really maintain a very good semblance of a two-party state in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Sort
Now
of.
we don't have that anymore,
Sort of.
and we won't.
So therefore, because we don't have that, and we're not going to have it for at least 4 more years, I'd like to talk about what's going on here in Newton right
Yes.
now.
One more
vis-a-vis-
thing, if I may. But just in conclusion, you mentioned that the governor is becoming the head of the NCAA,
Right.
and we wish him well in his
Absolutely.
endeavor. But what I would also say is that, and hint to the governor and to whoever else is out there listening, contemplating this, in 2 years, Elizabeth Warren is up for re-election. Hello, we need a formidable candidate to oust her, and she is very oustable, and hopefully somebody
And
will
maybe
step
the
forward.
most popular governor in America
Maybe
could
he'll
do
come
that.
back. We hope. She needs to go.
Right.
But that's
So-
2 years down the line.
so-
But pertaining to Newton politics, because
Right.
you and
I have notes.
you and I are both in Newton, and we're both the state committee members. I'd also like to mention that what Susan and I do is we are in charge of the district, which I already explained to you, and within the district there are Republican chairs of the various towns, Brookline, Newton, and Wellesley. Now, I would think you would agree that the two of us are very fortunate in that we have extremely competent people
Very competent.
who run those three venues.
Right. Beth Childs in Brookline.
Yes.
And
Jackie Von
Loy in
Wellesley.
Wellesley, and also Jessica Shanahan Flynn
in Newton.
In Newton.
Exactly. And
And-
you know, and we're very fortunate to have the three of them because they make our job a lot easier.
Oh,
And to
totally.
the point where, you know, we just show up to their events because they do everything like they're supposed to be doing.
Well, we
and
try to help.
We
I
do
try to
help. We do help, but we don't. But the point is, we don't have to instruct them. We don't have to
No.
oversee them. And I
They
will
all
say,
three know what they're doing
and
very
I will
well.
say this,
Right.
Susan, with our colleagues on the state committee, they don't have the same privilege and luxury that we have. There are many.
Some do, some don't.
Some do, some don't. But there, for example, in Western Mass, I believe two of our colleagues have maybe 25
To 30
Republican
towns,
districts.
right.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
that's impossible.
So therefore, that's why I want to talk about Newton, which
Yes,
is
indeed.
what more. I'm sorry. I just
No,
want to
please.
keep
We
you
need to
keep
talk
you
about-
focused a little. Right.
We need to talk about what's happening in Newton.
Right.
And of course, the overrides. You're the override expert, so.
Well, I'm not so much an expert on it, but at the end we'll talk about the events we have coming up.
Go
But
ahead.
for right now, we
Go
have
ahead.
these 3 overrides: question 1, 2, and 3. One is an operating override, which is just operating expenses. And because we have to have an override, or because the mayor thinks we need an override for operating expenses, it just means that she is admitting that she is not capable of living within the means of what the state law allows, which is 2.5%. Thank you to our friend Sam Robbins
of Newton,
and the
Len
other
Mead of
friends
Newton,
from
who were the
back
founders of Proposition 2.5
around
in
1970.
1980.
1980 was before I came to Massachusetts. I was here in 1988. So anyway, this operating override is ridiculous. They just need to live within their means. Maybe, cut the mayor's salary. I don't know, but do something to live within the means. And question 2 and 3 are debt exclusions to build new elementary schools. My daughter went to Countryside, and it was falling apart then. And I hate to admit just how long ago that was. And because I'm 70 years old, so it was a long time ago that she was in elementary school, and it was falling apart then, and the city has never done anything about trying to fix that school. It's sitting on wetlands. It's ridiculous. But that debt exclusions mean that that they last the length of the note, so therefore the notes are usually about 30 years. So therefore that means it's not our generation, yours and mine. I know you're not 70. But it's not yours and my generation that will be paying for this. It's our children and our grandchildren's generations. They're going to be the ones that will have to pay for this school when by the time they get to be older, the school is going to need to be repaired, replaced again. And then it's just ridiculous. People need to live, the school, you and I have to live within our means. The city should live within the city's means. And that should mean staying within that 2.5%. It's just beyond ludicrous that they don't. So that's my take on these schools.
Susan, folks, excuse my cough. I'm getting over a bad cough. I do not have COVID, but nevertheless, the cough
I wouldn't be
persists.
here if you did.
But, with regards to the override, you couldn't think of a worse time to have an override.
Oh.
Inflation is through the roof. Gas prices are through the roof. Home heating oil is
Eggs.
soaring.
You can't go to the grocery store and buy
Exactly.
eggs without.
Food prices,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. And, contrary to popular belief, not everyone in Newton lives on a 6-figure salary. There are a lot of people
Not
on
me.
fixed salaries. There's a lot of people on fixed incomes, I should say. There are a lot of elderly. There are a lot of people who just can't work, and there are a lot of people who are, shall we say, retired. So those are the people that are going to get hit with this
Right.
property tax override. Now, one of the things that was said through City Hall is that 75% of the proceeds from the tax override will go to the schools. Well, hello. In 2021 actually, after the 1.5-year shutdown of our schools, over 1,000 students, Newton Public School students, left the system. They had to cancel 9 or 10 kindergarten classes in the fall of 2021 because of the fact that so few
The children moved away.
So few
Right.
people. No, they didn't move away.
No, but
the parents
went to
are
school.
not enrolling their kids in the schools
Right.
because they've lost confidence in the schools.
They're either private schooled or homeschooled.
So Susan, this to me, and I'm sure to you, is common sense. You have so many less students in the schools, yet the schools need more money. For what? What am I missing here?
Well, I do agree that the schools need a little bit more money in building funds, in that the like Countryside was collapsing 30
Certainly.
years ago. So I understand that. Actually, it's been 40 years, but however long ago it was. But by saving money on not paying those teachers, and for those kindergarten teachers you were mentioning, and their future pensions, that should be enough money to hire a carpenter to come in and fix.
But also, this goes beyond the realm of common sense that they would
Yeah.
dare to ask for an override at this time with the economy the way it is, and with the fact that enrollment in the schools is significantly lower than it was a few years ago. Now, also, and this is also, of course, being pushed by the teachers union. Now, bear in mind, question 1, which was just passed this last month in November, the so-called millionaires tax. That was pushed by the state and local teachers unions, and really for the measly sum of, I was reading, $23 million in the amount of money they pushed to get this passed, they got $1 billion in tax revenue over the next few years, mostly for the schools. And again, the so-called millionaires tax. So in other words, the teachers' unions, the schools are already getting.
You and I are millionaires now because we have houses in Newton.
Exactly, right. but the teachers' unions, the schools are actually getting a lot more money throughout the Commonwealth, and now Newton on top of that. It's never enough. That's the problem. It is never enough. And our friends in the Newton Taxpayers Association will come up with the statistics, will come up with the data saying and elaborating on why this is a bad thing, and for which we're grateful. But still, they're coming at us, and I believe it's in March that this is going to happen.
Oh, the override vote? Yes. I believe it's March.
Well, folks, it's, again,
March 4th, March 6th, something like early March.
March is 3 months away. And given that we don't have a hometown newspaper where we used to, the Newton Tab, of course, the paper that I worked for twice.
Actually, finish your sentence and then I have a story.
Yeah, for that. And I was kicked out twice, but that's okay. And now we have nothing. So essentially, the viewers at home just have to be cognizant of this, that if you don't come out to vote against this override, it's going to be permanent. It's going to be with you for many years to come.
For yourself, your children, your grandchildren.
Yes, indeed.
Meanwhile, I have a story to tell. Let's go back in time to 1988 when I first moved here to Massachusetts. And Barney Frank was our congressman and Teddy Kennedy was the senator. And my father, the good old South Texan that he was like, if you're going to stay living up there, you need to get Teddy Kennedy out of office. And I'm going, yeah, fat chance, Dad, look who my congressman is. And he quit talking to me about it. And because nobody was going to get Barney Frank out of office. So then some years go by, I'm hiding. I'm still as conservative as I ever was, but I'm kind of hiding here in Newton because I knew with Barney Frank and Teddy Kennedy, there was no way that anybody saw politically the way I did. And 20 years go by, and I'm in the closet. I'm hiding in the closet Republican. And then I met some Republicans, and oh my gosh, there really are Republicans. I met Sandy Young. I met a few other people, and then I started reading the tab. There was an override thing in 2008 for the high school where they were going to spend, what, $300 million to build a new high school. That brought me out of the woodwork, and I'm going, let's see what's going on. Well, there was a group put together by the Democrats that I went to, and I met Janet Sturman and Sandy Young, and they talked me into getting more involved. And then I started reading the tab, and there was this columnist in the tab that wrote these wonderful conservative columns, and I was like, oh my God, this is right here in Newton. Tom Mountain. And so anyway, that was my introduction to politics in Newton. So there's bound to be somebody conservative out, some of you conservatives sitting out there, hiding in your closet. I am definitely an out of the closet Republican now, completely out of the closet. So anyway, we don't have Tom to write columns anymore for the tab.
Because there is no tab.
Because there is no tab. But meanwhile, he has Conservative Corner. So please contact us.
But I will say this, you may recall little over a decade ago when the first time I was kicked out of the tab. Again, it's a liberal newspaper, so inevitably a conservative columnist will get kicked out. So the first time I was kicked out, the position for chair of the Newton Republican City Committee suddenly became open. John McDermott, the long-term chair, was retiring.
He became an election commissioner.
Yes, indeed. And so I showed up, and people were urging me to run, and then you, I believe, were going to run as well.
Right.
And then you graciously, that's when I first met you, came to me at the meeting and said, if you're running, I'm staying out of it.
No, I said, if you'll run, I will step back from running for chair and I will run for vice chair.
I see. Okay, right. That's how it worked. And then lo and behold, it was like by default that I was elected chair, and I stayed in that position for, I believe, for over a decade. And and we rebuilt the Republican Party, and we had a very thriving party, and we still do, and we had some wonderful events. I mean. without exaggeration, we became the centerpiece of the state. We became the yardstick by which other Republican committees in towns and cities across the state were measured by.
Slight stretch, but not too much.
Well, I'll give you an example. We had 3 events where we had 300 people show
Yep,
up to our
yep.
events. Now, that's really unheard of with any Republican city committee, but we were
And
able to
in
pull
Newton.
it off. And in Newton.
Right.
And in Newton. Now, granted, our population is much larger than other communities, but still.
But still,
That's
300
quite-
people, 300
Yes,
Republicans
we
to
were-
get
and
up
we're
out
not
of their homes
exaggerating.
and go to the 440. That was amazing.
Yes, yes. And then we used to have our meetings in the Emerson School in the big classroom.
Right.
Sometimes they were so big,
Standing
so many
room
people
only.
showed up, we'd have to have it in the gym.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was really amazing.
And then COVID came, and they said, "Ha ha, you can't come here anymore."
And we didn't have them. We
Right.
didn't have them for a while. But still, the Newton Republican City Committee, in the very capable hands of Dr. Jessica Shanahan and you, Susan, and many others, is very much alive and well and functioning. And there's a lot of events that are coming up, and I'll just touch on them now before I forget.
Yes.
Now, this may or may not be aired by the time this Christmas party is on, but there will be a district Christmas party for Newton, Brookline, and Wellesley, and it's going to be in Wellesley, 75 Pleasant Street, at the Italian American Club this Wednesday, the
Right.
21st. Now, equally important is something which we in the Newton Republicans founded about a decade ago, and
And
This-
now it's being taken over by the
then,
440.
well, what it is
right.
we learned that at the New England Center for Homeless Veterans, people, like on Christmas morning, nobody was showing up there to do anything for the veterans. So we came up with a plan where we would get gift cards
Right.
from, for example, Walgreens, CVS, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, and we would bring them to the veterans,
Right.
the homeless veterans. We in the Newton Republican City Committee. Now it became so
Popular.
successful that we needed to partner with the American Legion, which has a huge membership, a huge apparatus, and and through that we were able to facilitate that, and we've been doing that now for over a decade, where every Christmas morning we show up with gift cards. I believe last time we had over 230 gift cards, which we
Very
give
good.
out to all the veterans, the homeless veterans. Now,
Right.
the Newton Republican City Committee, has stepped back from that because, we started it, but the American Legion can handle it better.
Right. They have a larger mailing list
And
than
so
we do.
consequently, so they're taking it over.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still very much involved, just as we are with other things pertaining to the American
Right.
Legion. It's really a partnership, a symbiotic relationship, a natural
Right.
relationship, in that we as Republicans, we're very much intertwined with helping veterans
Right.
and doing things pertaining to Memorial Day, Veterans Day, et cetera,
Right.
et
And
cetera.
that event is on Thursday.
That's right.
The-
Thursday at 6 o'clock at the American Legion, Thursday the 22nd.
and it goes from 6 until 10.
Yes, it does. And all we ask is that you bring a gift card for the homeless veterans.
Right. One $25 gift card.
That's
is-
all, $30, whatever you like. And and the food will be tremendous there.
Right.
We're going to have wonderful Italian food and dessert.
So that's Wednesday night and Thursday night. Unfortunately, I can't come to that one, which is our host here birthday. So everybody please come and wish him happy birthday. But the MARA, the Mass Republican Assembly's Southern Chapter's same event, holiday party, is down in Brockton, and I
see.
am
So you can't
required.
be there.
I'm
So,
required
Susan,
to attend that.
We have about 5 minutes left,
Oh.
and I want to bring you back to the national election. And of course,
Oh.
I think that we as Republicans,
Heartbreaking.
we were disappointed. We got half a loaf, and we expected to get a full loaf. Meaning, we got control of the House of Representatives. We didn't
Right.
get control of the Senate, and that was really extremely disappointing. Of course, my 2 favorites in Pennsylvania, Dr. Oz lost, and in Georgia,
Oh, but we got
Walker
the
lost.
prize. The prize for all the late night hosts on TV is Fetterman, Senator
Oh, yeah.
Fetterman. He is going to bring great joy to
Oh, what a complete,
many of
what a
these
complete
late night
joke.
hosts.
But the point is, Susan, that
I'm
we,
sorry, I shouldn't mock.
No. But the point is that so we got half a loaf. But we have to look from a positive perspective that we still have the House, and the House of Representatives can do a lot. The House
Yes.
controls the money. It controls the legislative agenda.
Hopefully they will control it.
And no, well, they will. I mean,
Well.
Nancy Pelosi is gone; they're kicked out, and so they're really backbenchers like we are here in Massachusetts. So we're expecting the House to take bold and dramatic moves.
I hope.
We hope. No,
Well,
they will.
no, as long as they don't pass that omnibus thing that's going through this year, because that's going to hogtie the next year's Congress.
Yes.
If they pass it now.
Well, I think that goes mostly through the. Yeah,
No, that's the House.
It's
That's
the House,
House.
and
And
the Senate
some of
as
the
well.
Republicans in the House, no, it's nothing to do with the Senate, it's
Okay.
the House. And if they don't not pass this now, which looks like they're going to pass it, then that means our side can't do
But
anything next year.
also, Susan, and again, I just to mention the facts here. In New England, 6 states, of 25 Congress people, there is not a single Republican
Right.
in Congress. There's 1 Republican senator, Susan Collins of Maine, and now there'll be only 2 Republican governors in Vermont, if you can believe it, and New Hampshire as well. But again, however, we can't stress enough that now the Republicans are in control of Congress, whereas before,
That's true.
the
Yeah.
last 2 years have been a nightmare for Republicans, for I would say many Americans who are not Republicans as well, under the Biden administration, which we consider Biden really to be a tool of the radical left.
Right.
But at least, while we can't stop their radical agenda, we can slow it down.
Well,
through the
one
House.
thing I want to say before we run out of time is thank God for Elon Musk. I love that guy. I absolutely love that
And
guy.
I don't even think he's a Republican.
No, he's not.
he's
He
an
was
independent.
always a registered Democrat, but he's at least an honest Democrat. And I love that guy.
Well,
Sorry.
and
Sorry. I know it's not
no,
on
that's,
topic.
That's
but
perfectly fine. But 2 years from now, we will have the actually a year and a half from now, in 2024, we will have the presidential election, and a lot can happen and will happen between now and then that will bring the country down further. But my own take on this is that the worse things get for the country, and I don't mean this cynically, but realistically, the better our party will do in 2024. We expect whoever the nominee will be in 2024 that he or she will take the presidency. We're hopeful.
We're hopeful. But, it just depends on if the deep state can get cleaned up.
Yes,
And,
exactly. And while we don't know if it will be President Trump who will do that again, who will be the nominee, probably, maybe, we don't know.
Who knows?
It could be someone else, but we as the Republican State
We
Committee
have
people...
a good, deep a bench.
And
That's the
let
word,
me- let
bench.
me-
There's a deep bench
exactly.
of people from DeSantis to,
Yeah.
all the way up to Trump. There are
And you and
lots
I
of
were
good Democrats.
were supposed to be a part of the
Democrats.
Massachusetts delegation last time to the convention, which never happened.
Which broke my heart.
And let's hope, here's hoping in 2024 we will certainly be at the convention wherever it will be.
Wherever it will
and
be.
it will be a good convention, and it will be time. Unfortunately,
Oh,
all things must end.
I have babbled
and-
long
and
enough.
we would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah to all of you. And we will see you in the new year when things are different and when hopefully things are better. But stay optimistic, people. Better days are ahead for our country, for our party. And we'll see you next month. And please enjoy your families during the holidays.
yes, please do.